Imagine walking through a forest at dawn. The air is cold. The trees are silent. Then, you stop. Not because you heard something, not because you saw movement, but because something smells wrong. You don't know what it is yet. A predator, a dead animal, a stranger who passed through hours ago. Somehow, your brain already knows something nearby doesn't belong. Sounds impossible. Maybe not. For most of us, smell is an afterthought. We notice coffee in the morning, fresh bread, smoke, maybe perfume. But imagine relying on your nose the way you rely on your phone today. Every scent is information: fresh water, spoiled food, danger, safety, a healthy person, a sick one. Your survival depends on reading invisible signals floating through the air. Miss one, and you don't get a second chance. For ancient humans, this wasn't imagination. It was everyday life. Long before cities, supermarkets, or refrigerators, smell wasn't just another sense. It was an early warning system. Ignore the wrong scent, and you might not live long enough to make the same mistake twice. But here's where things get strange. Ancient humans probably didn't have noses that were dramatically different from yours, so why would they seem so much better at smelling? The answer begins inside your brain, not your nose. Picture yourself entering a dense forest. At first, every smell blends together: wet leaves, earth, tree bark, animals. But after spending hours there, something changes. Your brain starts separating the scents. Tiny differences become obvious. Patterns appear. It's similar to how a musician hears details in a song that most people completely miss. The ears didn't change. The brain learned what mattered, and that's exactly what researchers think happened with smell. Studies show that experience dramatically improves odor identification. People trained to recognize scents can detect subtle differences that untrained people overlook. In other words, attention changes perception. But researchers discovered something even stranger. Some people have learned to recognize diseases simply by smell. Certain infections, Parkinson's disease, even some cancers can produce unique odors that trained individuals learn to detect. If modern humans can develop that ability today, imagine what survival demanded from someone living 20,000 years ago. But that raises an even bigger question. If our brains are capable of this, why don't most of us notice these smells anymore? The answer may be hiding in the modern world. Think about your day. Artificial fragrances, air fresheners, detergents, traffic fumes, fast food, cleaning products. Hundreds of competing smells surround you almost constantly. Instead of meaningful information, your brain receives noise, so it filters most of it out. That filtering keeps you from feeling overwhelmed, but it also means you're ignoring countless scents every single day. And this isn't just speculation. Neuroscientists know the brain constantly decides which sensory information deserves attention and which can safely be ignored. Smell is no exception. Here's something remarkable. Scientists have found that a single smell can trigger memories from decades ago, often more vividly than a photograph or a familiar voice. That's because smell has a uniquely direct connection to the brain's memory and emotional centers. Ancient humans depended on that connection every single day. Yet that's still not the biggest difference between us and ancient humans, because they weren't simply smelling more. They had a reason to care. Imagine waking up thousands of years ago. No expiration dates, no weather app, no grocery store. Imagine kneeling beside a stream after hours without water. It looks perfectly safe, but something smells off. Ignore that warning, and the water could make you dangerously sick. A different scent might reveal nearby prey. Another could tell you a predator passed through only hours earlier. In a world like that, smell wasn't just useful, it was the difference between making it home and becoming part of the forest. Every decision mattered. Over generations, humans who paid closer attention to useful smells likely had a better chance of surviving. And there's one final piece of the puzzle. Your sense of smell is directly connected to brain regions involved in memory and emotion, much more directly than vision or hearing. That's why one unexpected scent can instantly pull you back into childhood or remind you of someone you haven't seen in years. Ancient humans lived inside that sensory world every day. A particular smell wasn't just an odor, it was experience. It was memory. It was survival. The brain remembered what mattered because forgetting carried real consequences. Today, missing the smell of rain usually means you forgot an umbrella. Back then, It could mean missing water entirely. So, could ancient humans smell better than you? Maybe, but probably not because their noses were dramatically more powerful. The stronger difference may have been something we've slowly traded away. Attention! They lived in a world where every scent carried meaning. We live in one where most smells are distractions. Your nose is still collecting thousands of invisible chemical messages every day. The question is whether your brain still believes they're worth listening to. And if that's true, maybe the greatest ability ancient humans had wasn't a better sense of smell. It was the habit of noticing what the rest of us have learned to ignore.